sister's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. I'm gonna say her name. I am my sister's
Black girls as young as 7, great grandmothers as old as 95 have been killed by the police. They have been shot to death. They have been stomped to death. They have been suffocated to death. They have been manhandled to death. They have been tasered to death. They have been killed shopping while black, having a mental disability while black, having a domestic disturbance while black. They've even been killed being homeless while black. Why don't we know these stories?
I'm gonna say her name.
You don't hear about us on the news. You know, you might hear about it when it first happened, and that's it. They sweep it under the rug. But we have a voice now. We're gonna break the silence and we're gonna talk about it. One thing I know, she's smiling down because I'm doing what she would want me to do.
She's not coming back. How can I live on through her? Speak. How can she live on? Speak.
We are human. We are damsels in distress. We have issues, we have problems, and just don't come out with guns in hand and shoot us.
Sometimes we don't even know, most of us don't even know we're being suppressed, you know. And those that speak out against it are the most endangered. And Corinne Gaines was one of them.
Not one crazy, disgusting law was changed, but one person. Not one slave was freed because of one voice. It takes unity. It takes people who, if they didn't go through it personally, it takes people who are willing to fight so that they don't. So that it's not your child or your daughter or your son whose name is being said. I don't want anybody to look at me as a victim. If you don't understand that we have a problem in this country, you are the victim. You're the victim.
Mic check. This is West Wednesday number 356. 356 weeks of protesting against police violence and the death of Tyrone West. I'm going to turn this over to Tawanda Jones.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Ben, I gave you the wrong number. It's actually 357.
Okay.
357. Day 2,499. So again, I want to first thank everybody for tuning in. And we're just gonna dive in to West Wednesday. I just wanted to let you guys know that after seeing that powerful but sad video, I am honored tonight to have the mother of Corinne Gaines, the strong warrior queen, and I have many more. I have another strong warrior queen who lost her son as well, and I wouldn't want to wish nobody into this pain. I even have Abdul Salam, who was the victim of the same brutal serial murderers that murdered my brother. They almost killed him 17 days before. He's on here. I also have my sister, Dr. Marta. She needs help on turning her camera on because I don't know if her camera's on or not now. I tried to send her a message. But anyway, we're going to jump into real quick my brother. Everybody know, in this case you don't know, my brother Tyrone West was executed right here in Baltimore City by 11 to 15 brutal maniac killer cops. And this was in 2013. So now going on 7 years, my family, my supporters have been fighting tirelessly for accountability. And so as we saw George Floyd brutally yelling on the ground, "I can't breathe," being executed, modern day lynching. You know, they went from hanging us in trees to making us stop with their knees, putting their knee on our neck, their knee in our back. They do all types of brutal things and they get away with it. And it just needs to stop. But when I think about the way they do our men in society, how can I not make you guys understand that if it's vicious and horrible as it is, and I don't want to seem like I'm being biased about anyone being murdered, because a murder is a murder and it's heartbreaking. But when you see a queen sister executed in her home and her baby shot, I don't know what to say. So when I say that Rhonda Dormis is like a fearless warrior queen, and it's nothing but the grace of God, that's why she's still here to be able to fight so hard for her beautiful warrior queen sister. I mean, not her sister, her daughter, our beautiful warrior queen sister, Corinne Gaines, who was first. She had no problem with speaking up about police brutality and all the ills. Just like we saw, I let you guys meet Sandra Bland's sister 2 weeks back. And Sandra Bland was outspoken, and that's what they do. When they said they try to silence us. But no further ado, I'm going to bring my warrior queen, beautiful sister, Rhonda Dormis, on. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Rhonda. Still can't hear you yet. You're still muted.
Rhonda, the unmute is down the
There you
bottom.
go.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rhonda Dormis, and I am the mother of Corinne Gaines. I'm here supporting my sister warrior, Tawanda Jones, on her courageous and she just has the strength of I don't know how many to be able to, fight 57 weeks, nonstop. And it's just unfortunate we have to be here and on this occasion, and it's happening all too frequently. They beating people to death, they choking them to death, they shooting them to death. We got to collectively come up with a solution some kind of way. Tawanda?
Yes, queen.
Did you just want me to talk about Corinne?
No, yes, whatever you want to talk, whatever you're comfortable. Because I know, people don't know, as we talk about this, we get very good place to a place we don't ever want to go back to. It's real standing in the dark. So if that's too hard, I definitely understand. So whatever you're comfortable with talking about is fine with me. Because I don't want to make you sick after this. We like my brother Abdul said, we're in a pandemic on top of a pandemic on top of a pandemic. It's way too much. So whatever your comfort level with, whatever you want to share, feel free, my queen.
Well, I won't go back that horrible road, but I'll just try to share a little bit about what she meant to me and my family. How she always tried to keep the family together. She was outgoing with her children. People who loved her. If they didn't, they didn't. There wasn't no in between with her because she was straight cut and dry, And on August 1st, 2016, the Royce Ruby, decided to pull that trigger, shooting my child through her back, through a wall in which he could not see her. Also injuring my grandson and just taking a part of my family away and my child that, I don't know, I think I'll forever try to figure out how to replace her space in my heart. It's just, it's just empty now, and so these killer police need to know what they're doing. I know they don't care, but I mean, in hindsight, you would think they would say, damn, I hurt somebody. and it was unnecessary, you know, to be beating somebody or choking somebody, you know. And for my daughter, you know, she stood her ground. She did not feel safe in the arms of law enforcement, and she refused to go into them. You know, and unfortunately, there was a officer that decided, you know, well, if she don't come out, I'm just gonna take her out. You know, ultimately, that's what I believe happened. And then so, even though the person that did it, you know, offers no remorse, we take them for civil trial. You know, they don't get charged criminally or anything like that. We take them for a civil trial, which is not meant to collect money. That is to get as much information out about your case as you can. For me, it was. And I know for a fact that the ones that don't get either, their stories never get told. So I was blessed to have my daughter's case handled by J. Wendell Gordon, in which, you know, he had 2 other partners that worked with him. All 3 were unbelievable. We went through 3 hard weeks. You know, I thought I lost like 20 years off my life. I'm telling you, I went in feeling already broken, but by the time it was over, I was beat down. You know, just to find out that the jurors sided with my case based on the evidence they heard. These people heard what the media would not present. Okay? So it was a civil suit, it was 6 jurors. There was a unanimous decision. All of them agreed that he was liable for my daughter's murder and the injuries to my grandson, and, you know, taking the mother away from her other child and her taken away from me. You know, all those things meant something at that time, you know, because like many, initially I had a lot of questions about, you know, whether we could win this case by, you know, people who were skeptical because they didn't understand the background that had led up to this, led up to something so ridiculous. It should have never happened, you know, to have a task force sent to your house for a traffic ticket. You know, those type of things are unreasonable. They are unreasonable. Same as showing up in the middle of the night and shooting a young lady laying in her bed, a no-knock warrant. But my officers went and got a key from the rental office and gained entry with a key. You know, so it's so many layers to the parents who've lost children because there's so many things that they want the public and their peers and the people who oppose, we want them to know what really goes on. I don't know whether they really care to hear it, but they need to. They need to know how we're traumatized not only by the police, but the system. So speaking on the system, Judge Mickey, what was his first name? Mickey Norman, I believe that's his name. I'm going to state that that's his name, Mickey Norman. Overturned the case based on qualified immunity and also told us that we tricked the jurors. He told us that we tricked the jurors into that decision. How do you trick a group of people that you've never met, never had any encounter with? How do you trick them? You know, and for the very thing that he overturned the trial, because now the trial looks like it hasn't even happened, like it never existed. You know, this gentleman gets him off on something that was on the table prior to the trial even beginning. Qualified immunity. He wasn't qualified the first 2 times that it was brought on the table. And now that we won the case, now it's qualified immunity. And I believe part of his statement when he gave his answer was, the jurors got it wrong. Former law enforcement. But my lawyer, J. Wendell Gordon, he's fighting tirelessly, tooth and nail, you know, just to get some kind of justice, you know. You won't say that he was wrong for what he did when it was proven clearly in the trial. That's why they tried to keep all of our expert witnesses out. But guess what? We wound up not even really relying on that because the facts spoke for themselves. And these are things that the public and the people who want inquiring minds, they don't know. And even after the trial, the media still didn't put out pertinent information about the case that made the jury choose and decide the way that they did. snippets and here and there, but it's not the same way they present all the negative things when a victim is, massacred or choked to death or tased to death. They dig up anything that they can and they put that in the forefront. And because we are human, a lot of humans like to hear the negative stuff. A lot of people thrive off of those type of things. I know people that if it ain't no, it's like how they do the videos and fights and stuff, it ain't no real fight, they gonna turn it off. I don't care how it affects them, even if it's indirectly, they're being affected and don't even know they're being affected. I try to learn as much as I can from my lawyer about the policies and the different things that can affect my case, and I'll ask other people like, okay, I'm not understanding this. You have to explain this to me. So you have to understand what they're doing to you for it to stop, for you to even put anything into motion to stop. Right now, it's obvious. The racial tension is at an all-time high, so we know what we're fighting with now. But when you go behind the scenes with the cases, I ain't gonna say little cases, but the cases that are always on the forefront, there are many of them. I'm thankful and blessed that my case was seen in court. It was judged properly. And regardless of what that judge did, because he could take back $100 million, if I can't use that money to buy my daughter's life, but he can't take what the jurors finalized on. On paper he can, but there was a decision made on what my daughter went through and many other people that support me and I support them. And look how many years we're still finding out about. So my case, as trying as it appeared to be, the facts weighed in, and it was found to be in favor for my family and my grandchildren, but the judge said we tricked them. His words. So, and then just dealing with not new, but this present day situation with George Floyd and how he was murdered in just broad daylight, people begging for his life. Those things, and even the things that aren't as gruesome, picks the scab on mothers who have lost children to police terror. We could be thinking we on our way to, being better or, some normalcy or our new normal. And then something this horrific comes about, and it's just like somebody just get scared, just rip and tear the rest of the heart apart. They don't want to share it, they want to rip it apart. But they don't know that. And this is why we have to constantly remind everybody, especially black and brown people, that we can't tolerate this kind of stuff anymore. Our mothers, we're sick of that. We have mothers that have died from heartbreak. Heartbreak. I don't know whether y'all saw when that clip with one of the mothers, I recognized her voice, Vicky McAdoo. When I heard her voice, it made me extremely emotional. She was a dear friend of mine. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, she died of a broken heart. She just gave up. So, and there are a lot of mothers that I'm afraid that they may go down that same road because the healing process hasn't been fast enough for them to get past that I'm stuck in grief, send your blood pressure up, having headaches all the time. You can't function at work or can't work. These are all real things that we feel. They're so real. We may look at another mother and be like, oh, well, she ain't good. You don't know what's going on in that mother's life. You know that you're feeling pain and it's sometimes unbearable for you. So recognize that everybody's pain manifests differently. I may not be, I'm a silent sufferer. Every once in a while I'll post about my baby and I'll post, but for the most part I'm a silent sufferer, which makes me even more dangerous because if people don't know when I'm going through it, I could just explode by myself. You understand what I'm saying? But thank God I have people that can hear my voice and say, I'm on my way. Marion Gray Hopkins, one of my dearest, I love her to pieces. She called me one day, I was laying on my porch, balled up. And she heard the sound of my voice. And when I looked up, she was coming up my staircase. And she lived out Lord, I can't remember where Mary is. It's like near Prince George's. It's a good ways away. You know, and then this time we need have mothers to reach out to one another. We need it. You know, we may not see the cry or hear the cry for help, but you must know that our mothers are struggling. You know, we have some mothers that go hard there on the front line. I love and respect them. They're out there, they're doing the thing. But some of us aren't built for that. But we with you, and we will continue to uplift their name. You know, all of the mothers that are suffering and their children, we'll continue to uplift their name. But everybody has a job in this fight. You know, some areas are stronger for other people than others. You know, but we just have to come together. Tawanda, you're a sister, but it does not negate the loss. Because your relationship was what it was with Tyrone. But at the end of the day, your grieving process is different. You got a lot of fight. You like gut wrenching fight. We gonna get this right. You understand? So this is a hard time for me, for my daughter. I'm gonna close with saying that this is a very difficult time because I'm, you know, walking down that road mentally with the Floyd family and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, all of them. I feel like we're all arm in arm walking down the same road, except for theirs is new and mine feels new. So thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So I just want to first thank you for fighting so hard. Like you said, like I know what it feels like to lose a sibling, my brother. Like he was my everything. Like literally when my brother came home, it was like bringing my mother back to life. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a big piece of me. So when they killed my brother, they killed my mother all over again. But just to emphasize and to show you guys condolence for your pain, I couldn't imagine. I would never want to imagine losing any of my children. Like I would never. Like almost slipped out last week when I had to take my son to the emergency room. Like I couldn't get myself together, and he was fine. You know what I mean? So I just commend you guys so much, and I just thank y'all for continuously fighting. And it's a real important time. Because like she said, the judge was dirty. So when you talk about KKK Klan members used to wear their white, well, guess what? They replaced them with judge suits. They replaced them with police uniforms. They replaced them with medical examiners, office gear, whatever they wear, their doctor suits. They replaced them. They are all over our community, plaguing our community real hard. And we got to fight them even harder. No mother should have to endure. She could have lost, not only did she lose her beautiful daughter, but to think she almost lost her grandbaby as well. That is heartbreaking. I can't even explain it. And I just thank her for taking the time. And I hope I didn't set her back. So sis, if you need to call me, if you need anything. So what I want to ask you, my next question is, sis, what do you need or how can we support you? Do you have like a cash app? Do you have a petition? What ways can we help support you? Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Well,
Mic.
Mic check. You know, I mean, like I said, with all the mothers, you know, we're struggling financially with all the things that's going on. But, you know, I am assisting raising my grandbaby, and sometimes it gets difficult. You know, sometimes it gets difficult financially, you know. And I haven't been able to work since I had my last stroke. You know, I can do crafts. I'm a crafty person, but you got to be in the right state of mind to even pursue and finalize things, you know. And sometimes, you know, I'll start things, and I was selling masks for a while, and I just lost my energy with all the stuff that's going on. So to make a long story short, my cash app is $sign Rhonda Dormis. That's my first and last name together. Yeah, so.
Can you spell it, please, so they can get it right? Because I know you spell your name a little different. Spell your name, please, so that way they can cash at you. And if it ain't nothing but $2, a dollar goes a long way, especially in a pandemic. So
right.
Can you spell your name out, sir?
Okay, it's $RHANDA, last name DOR, M as in man, EUS as in Sam, Rhonda Dormias.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So everybody that's listening, you just got my sister Cash App information. Like she said, when we go and pursue, these civil cases, it ain't never about the money. I always told you, it's never about the income. It's about the outcome. And that's why we fight so hard. We go into it, we want information. That's why my family took up a civil case. We wasn't in about the money. All the money in the world can never bring our loved one back. Let's be crystal clear on that.
Absolutely.
Clear on that. It ain't about none of that, but at the end of the day, fair is fair and right is right. And if they took her daughter away, they can no longer provide for her children and do things for her mother, they owe that family. They couldn't even write a check big enough to pay back for taking a life. So let's be clear on that. So if you guys can do anything to help my sister Queen, please, because I had another sister that was on here and somebody anonymously donated her $500. So if you get anything, let me know, because I want to give our listener notice always a big shout out thing. They did it anonymously, but she was so happy and she shared that with me and I shared it with you guys. So anything, like I said, it could be $5. Anything would be greatly appreciated. So,
Mic check. I had a quick question for you, Rhonda. This is Benjamin. I wanted to know, so whenever anybody buys that portrait I made, I'm put all of the profits to the GoFundMe account. Is that still active? Is that still going to y'all?
No, it's not active anymore.
Okay. Because I went on the page and there's people donating. There are people donated an hour ago on here. Yes, there are people donating still on that page.
When you get a chance, send me a screenshot.
I got you.
Just of the page to make sure it's a legit, like it hasn't been tampered with or something, because no, there's nothing.
Yeah, it says Creole is on it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben, for sharing that and checking. And also, Facebook has been playing with me a lot. I kept, numerous times I tried to share a watch party from Ben page, and it keeps on, even though I hit the active one, it keeps on letting me share the one of your watch parties from earlier. I want to know, is it real quick, can you check to see if I'm actually sharing the right one again?
I'll check that for you right now.
Yeah, because I'm not good at this. This is my first one.
You're on the correct one, Tawanda.
Oh, it is?
You are on the correct one.
Okay, because I hit it 3 times. The thanks telling me and everybody will let me know. Because each time I kept going back to that, but it kept doing something else. So thank you, because I just want to make sure that my families that are sharing the right thing. So no further ado, I'm going to bring on next. And I hate bringing families on like this because it's heartbreaking. And Rhonda, she just broke my heart all over again. So when I think about election time, it was the election. I hope everybody vote. We got to get these racist judges out, these racist state's attorneys. We just got to knock it down for real and build it back up. But every vote matters. So it's our duty to fight for our freedom. It's our duty to win. You know what I mean? So please vote. Get these jokers out of there. How dare you disrespect a family? And I wanted to mention real fast before I bring my other sister Queen on. In the same county where Corinne Gaines was executed, when they had somebody to serve her a traffic ticket, and I got so nervous because for 2 days a county officer was coming to my home to serve me a daggone red light ticket that I caught. Really? A red light? I was baffled. So I'm like, wow. So they came here and they served it, and it was actually not even for me, it was for my daughter. So I instantly thought about Corinne Gaines. I'm like, oh my God. So I made sure I was the one. I'm like, I'll sign for her type of thing for a couple funky bucks. It could have been anybody driving. I thought it was my car, but it was her car. But long story short, it's horrible. What if they would have killed me and my daughter about a traffic ticket? But meanwhile, what I wanted to bring up, in that same county this year, a maniac by the name of Benjamin Murdy, y'all. Benjamin Murdy, he actually executed his girlfriend's dog. He shot and killed her dog in broad daylight, in the neighborhood. But then it gets worse. She actually called 911 to report that her boyfriend just killed her dog. And what did Benjamin Murdy do? The officer showed up. He shot over 200 rounds. He could have hit kids, neighbors. This is a white man. Benjamin Murdy. If you think I'm lying, to look that name up. Benjamin Murdy. And I just did an interview with the Real News. It'll be on tomorrow, and I shared that case with him. But he shot over 200 rounds at the police. Did they shoot at him? One time, no, they did not. They actually let him, and he was firing from behind his truck on the outside. They actually let this man go in his house and go to the phone and call 911 and then turn himself in. No scratches, nothing. So when they kill my sisters in cold blood, when they kill my brothers in cold blood, that's exactly what it is, modern day lynching. So no further ado, I'm gonna bring my beautiful queen, and she's miles and miles away. And I hope I'm getting her place of where she at. Her, first of all, her name is Genevieve, and she is from Mohibe. I hope I'm saying that right. But we're gonna bring her up, and she's gonna, my beautiful queen is gonna share, unfortunately, the loss of her son that was executed. Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic check.
Don't forget to unmute yourself. You're still muted, sister. Go ahead, unmute. There you go.
Now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Genevieve Weezar, and it's hard to pronounce. Where I live now is Fort Mojave, Arizona. I moved from Santa Ana, Anaheim, California, almost 2 years ago. My son was shot in the back, in the lower back, and he's falling to his knees, and they shoot him to the back of his head. He had just turned 25, 8 days prior to his murder. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's talking to a friend in the alley, and the cop car rolls up. They point at him, so he runs. And when he ran, the cop chased him down around the building. The cop said my son had a gun, and it was proven in court to be his cell phone. We went to civil court, and we lost. My attorneys filed for the 9th District Court of Appeals, which took my case and said, let's go back to civil court. The city of Anaheim then took my son's case to the Supreme Court to overrule the 9th District Court of Appeals. And the Supreme Court said, no, you go back to civil court. And of course, it's a long, hard road. You know, I'm just like condensing it, but the jury found him guilty of excessive force, of murdering my son. Being a civil course, of course, he'll never be arrested. The officer, his name is Nick Benelit in Anaheim, California. He has now killed 4 times. He's been promoted to detective. And the hurt and pain that all the mothers feel, I feel right with you. What the Floyd family is going through right now, you know, it just brings up so much pain for all of us. It just opens the wounds. You know, Manuel was my only son. He was also my baby. He was my youngest. He was never married, never had any children. And, you know, in the beginning, it took me at least 5 weeks to get out there and start marching and meeting people. But once I got out there, I just couldn't stop. I traveled to so many places in California, what you would not believe. From Sacramento to Oxnard to San Bernardino to San Diego to Riverside, just Bakersfield, just meeting families and trying to be there. It's like if I was helping them, I was getting help myself. When I first started protesting in Anaheim, and I met a lot of mothers there too, because Orange County has a lot of murders, a lot. And, you know, I would end every march in a circle of prayer, because I believe with my whole heart that my son was received in heaven that day. and there was an uprising. If you go to July 21st, 2012, and put in Manuel Diaz, and you can follow the protests that happened, the uprising, and it's real close to Disneyland. And the city council, the police, Disneyland, all of them hated when we would go to Disneyland and protest, because Disneyland is their main source of income, right, for Anaheim, and it's well protected, very well protected. My son was, if you ever heard of the word laminin, laminin is a glue that connects your body together. Without laminin, your cells wouldn't stay together. He was a laminin in our family. He loved to sing, loved to dance. He has a lot of nieces, and he would call each one of them my love. How you doing, my love? All of them. Even me, he would tell me, how you doing, my love? And I miss him with my whole heart. Behind me, this is a picture that was done by a high school, and it shows him playing baseball, basketball, and football. He was in sports all of his life. Since he was 4 years old, he started off with t-ball, and I kept him in sports all through his schooling. You know, he was a good student. When he got in his 20s, he started hanging out with guys. He didn't have any brothers, so he, you know, hung out with guys in the neighborhood and got in a little bit of trouble, but he wasn't a bad man. He was everybody that I met said how much he was a helpful man. He would help people all the time, anywhere. He would play with the kids. He had this heart of gold. And I know he's in a better place. And if you have any questions, you know, I'll be willing to answer anything. But that's about it for Manuel, like for the story right now.
Thank you so much, sis. Like, that really broke my heart. Like, oh my God, I'm trying to get myself together. I'm so sorry, and I just thank you for sharing your pain. And no mother can have to experience that at all. I'm so sorry. Like, and I know, like I had asked you in your inbox in which ways we can help you, but and you didn't really like have any like ways, like, because you said you didn't have a Cash App or PayPal and things like that. And the only reason why I'm thinking of like money contributions, because I know times are hard now during a pandemic, but if you have a petition, like any which way that we can support you, you know.
No, through my court case, we didn't win millions. The jury awarded $200,000, and we ended up selling our home in Santa Ana and came out here to Fort Mojave, so we're okay. And I appreciate that, and that's why I said whatever mothers that need it, I am not, you know, I'm fine it, but I appreciate your you know, wanting to help. We're fine with God's blessings.
But if you ever think of anything, like if it's not even just a financial contribution anyway, like if you want us to talk to somebody, make a phone call, like any which way you can think of, just make sure you let me know. And again, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like,
thank you. I love you guys.
I love you more. Do anybody in here want to ask her a question? Because she left the floor open for a question. Do anybody have a question that they want to ask? Mic check.
Mic check. I have a question.
Yes.
Since you made the move, have you done like protests where you are now, or are people aware of this history that the police took your son?
Well, actually, where we moved, it's all like a retirement area. I just retired almost 2 years ago. But yesterday I went to the market and there was some protesters, and I got down and I went live, and there was just a handful of people, but they were on their knee for George Floyd. So I was able to stay with them about a half an hour. Yeah, and then there's Kingman, Arizona. They've been protesting there. this Saturday, Lake Havasu, Arizona. They're supposed to bring buses there and protest. So they're going on, but everything's so far apart. We're in the desert. Yeah, but I love it here. I mean, I believe that God made the way because where we were living, my husband works for the state for Caltrans, the transportation, and he said, you know, if I'm able to transfer my job, we'll go out there. And he got a transfer and we came. And I've been at peace here. You know, after, I wish you guys could like follow everything that we did. I was with two groups. One was first the Young Survivors. And I left that because you know how people end up not being compatible. And then right now I'm with another group called Our Realities, and we try to help people by filming their stories and putting it out on, you know, the internet, YouTube, stuff like that. So I'm involved, but not as involved as I used to be.
Oh, sis, I got a question too. Do you remember that poem that you gave me when I met you in Las Vegas?
Yes.
That really touched my heart. Like, I just want to thank you. Like, that poem is so, like, strong and motivating. Do you remember it by heart? Would you mind?
I do remember it by heart. Thank you. So I'll go ahead. 7 weeks before my son passed away, he, in his book that he used to draw and make some poems, he wrote a poem and he named it Love Life. So it says, love life. When you wake up in the morning, put a smile on your face. Think about how God's given you another chance. Love life always. Think of the future. Keep yourself straight. You're going to be great. Put a smile on your face every day. Keep on coming up. Love God, and He will make your day. Just think of your happy times and how you love life. And he put his name, and he put the date, May 31st, 2012, and at the very bottom, he put his sister, he used to call her Beanie. So he kind of dedicated that poem to her. But yeah, I would share it everywhere I went. I took cards with me, and I would just share his poem because those words, it's almost like he knew he wasn't going to be here much longer.
Yes, it's beautiful. So I just want to share this with you. Like, every day when I wake up, I read that poem. I actually put it in a frame. It's so special to me.
Oh, wow.
It's so special to me. And it gets like, so some days, like when I don't read it, or if I'm feeling down and I'm like beat down, like I want to give up. Like the other day when we did a big protest and they actually had the officer that, like, when they kill somebody, they become a hero. When they kill a person or a black person, they become a hero. And they get these promotions. And so when they had Killer Ruiz working down at City Hall this past Saturday, you know, this past weekend, it blew my mind, and I just wanted to zap all the way out. But I read your son poem, and that was my calm place. So I just wanted to let you know that poem is with me and will stay with me for life, eternity.
Yeah, it's powerful. If you really listen to it, it's powerful.
It really is. It's really, so I thank you for that. But next up, I'm going to bring up, and I'm glad that he took the time, and it really broke my heart when I saw him driving with his son in the car just now into a southern spot. So it looked like he's in a southern spot now because I don't think he's driving anymore. But 17 days before my brother Tyrone West was executed, Abdul Salam was literally in his driveway and with his baby. And the same two killers, Ruiz and Chapman, the first two that came in my car that beat my brother profusely, pepper sprayed him, tased him, kicked him, stomped him, and called up 15 to 20 other officers to come beat one unarmed man, and then let a 315-pound David Lewis put his knee in my brother's neck and back and made sure my brother was dead. And on that note, real quick, before I say it, speaking underneath that, I know people are getting all excited when they see these police officers take a knee. Don't let them do a photo op with us. I don't trust it. It irks me. To me, we can take a knee all day long. That's our service. But to me, the knee for me with them, if they want to make it right, open their mouth and admit that police brutality is wrong, and when you see it, you're going to report it. That's breaking that blue cold wall of silence. If you're not doing that, take that knee and ram it up your hind parts. I don't want that knee. You're doing it for a photo op. You'll do that knee. To me, that's symbolic to when they take pictures with our children for like acting like they're giving out turkeys or holiday things, and then in the same day they're killing our loved ones. I'm not impressed by it. I know people say transparency and all. That's not being transparent to me. I feel some type of way. If they want to make it right, instead of them taking a knee, open their mouth and make a commitment. Don't open your mouth and say it because you think it sounds cute. Say it because you mean it. Say police brutality is wrong, and if we see something wrong, we're going to say something. That's being transparent. That's trying to take and put this gap back together. So I just want to clear that up for the record. But anyway, no further ado, I'm going to bring on my warrior brother who I met when he was driving past. We used to have all the killer cop signs up at Northeast District, and he actually rolled past. He saw Ruiz and Chapman name, and this brother got out of his car to tell me his horrible story that Ruiz and Chapman almost killed him. I'll let him share that story, but I wanted to mention 3 other victims. That, matter of fact, my sister Dina was assaulted by Ruiz. He came in her home terrorizing. He's a terrorist. Okay, let's be crystal clear. And then it's Joseph Green, James Green, and then it's Daryl Harris. Daryl Harris almost killed 24 hours before they executed my brother. And what is our commissioner doing? What is our state's attorney doing? Nothing. They love it. They love it. So, mic check. I'm bringing on Abdul Salama. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Go ahead, Abdul.
First thing, Tawanda, for inviting me to the platform. Thank you all for being a part of this platform. And one of my mindsets, I start with in Baltimore in general, is that, I'm totally against retraining police officers. That's not what police reform is to me at this time. I don't think that those minute measures are what the system needs at this time. Coming from a mental health background, therapist, outpatient mental health agency, and I don't think that with the history of policing in America and the continuous pattern and practice that Tawanda so eloquently spoke of just now, and our minute case that echoes throughout the nation, these aren't mistakes, these aren't them acts, right? These officers, it seems like they get promoted, and you need a promotion. I don't know which one comes first. You need to have several killings and their fatal situations, and then you get promoted, or vice versa. I know my first time being first by police was at 10 years old, right? In 1994, when my mother sent me to school in D.C., my main guys and cousins were assaulted by police in jail. I would have been right there with them had I not been in D.C. And fast forwarding all the way to 2013, when the police tried to kill myself with my son, and I'd be remiss if I didn't include him in this story, even though they tried to exclude him in the story, in the narrative, but they subjected him to the same sterilization as they did myself on July 1st. I think with the way Baltimore has not only, let me start with Tawanda, my hat's off to you. I always give my hat's off to you. I call you the Energizer Bunny, because this is something that this topic, this subject specifically, is something that you would never let down, and I commend you for that. I think that spirit is captivated throughout Baltimore. I've always tell people that Baltimore is a little bit different. when it comes to fighting police brutality, when it comes to fighting oppression of a systematic government and policing specifically, right? And I champion Tawanda for a lot of that. But in addition to that, the technique and the seriousness in which the city has grasped and taken accountability, right? And what I mean by that is fighting for laws, legislation, being innovative, having this consent decree, trying to hold elected officials accountable to the best way possible, right? So, and something I also see that's been very proactive for Baltimore is assuring that we empower our young people, right? So the next generation, right? We just saw this youth-led protest, parade throughout the city. I mean, it was over 20,000 people that were part of this rally, right? This celebration of Black lives, right? And a demand for justice and something that we always will assure of in Baltimore is that this cause is not a hashtag call, right? This is not. And we love our brother George Floyd, but we love our sister Corinne Gaines just as much. And that fight is not over. We love our brother Tyron West just as much. Those fights are not over. And those individuals, my brothers and sisters, will not be forgotten in vain. So, excuse me. We'll fight in Baltimore. So, while other individuals and other cities, we welcome them to the arena. But we've been in the arena. And when you've been in that arena, it creates a different animal. And I think we embrace that in Baltimore. And we ask the rest of the nation to take accountability. Take accountability for the city. Take accountability for making individuals uncomfortable. Take accountability for your local community, your local police, and change, right? I tell some people, you know, you hear about looting, hiding, negative things that come with the fight, and I tell them, fuck that. Excuse my language. Sometimes we want to have casualties at war. We ain't with no war. I ain't with nothing. Understand that. I'm not with any negative things that come. That's not what I'm about or we are about. With that being said, I don't give a fuck what happens when we fighting for freedom until you get more freedom. Excuse my language. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
But none of that don't matter to me. Guess why? Because we losing lives in the process, and that's the ultimate price. So until you got answers for me and mine, for that, everything else you changing the goddamn narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse my language, but I'm that passionate when we talking about these issues, when we talking about our community. And I work with young people. And I chose to work with young people a long time ago. I love the way their mind is fun. I'm not an individual who trying to like to, and from a therapeutic standpoint, I don't like to try to have individuals try to change minds, right? I always tell people that we have more generals and soldiers than we want to take the time for. So we need the time to mold the right mind, the right individuals, instead of trying to change elected officials that are 50 years old, 60 years old, stuck in their ways, hands in their pockets. These things that we know, if we take the time to champion a 15-year-old over 5 to 7 years, you'll have that 21-year-old elected official that's a gym. That's implementing all of these ideas that they've been raised and bred with. We have these innocent spirits that we must show how to take control and responsibility and prioritize their needs in their cities. I always tell my young people, don't go vote for red and blue. Don't go vote for a name. The most important reason I want you to go vote is to find out what issues are on that ballot box. Are they talking about books? Are they talking about... Go find out where the money's going. So, I always go around weapons. For the most part, it's good.
Take your time.
I'm sorry, Abdul. I know this is hard. While you taking your time, get your thoughts, I want to thank you because you did everything to try to save my brother's life before you even knew me, before you even heard about him. You reported it to Internal Affairs, which is a freaking joke. You did everything. You made calls to the point that they threatened to lock you up. And you was the victim in front of your baby. So I just want to thank you, and I'm forever grateful that you definitely tried to save my brother's life without even knowing. Darrell Harris tried to save my brother's life. He was attacked 24 hours before he called up on the joke. Did they do anything? No. They was bloodthirsty, and finally they got my brother. He got caught on the track.
And my mom always, just being, coming out of it, being your survivor, and being that close, being 2 weeks away from RBT. And that's where my mom always goes. I was 2 weeks ago away from not being here, right? So we will continue to fight. I apologize, y'all. Rhonda, it was always something that I envisioned, just to connect with the family, because it's even funny because I feel, what's your grandbaby name?
Cody Gaines.
Cody, yes. Cody even favors up there a little bit. They got those same chubby cheeks, and so when I looked at him, I said, "This is crazy." And I say all that. I work in mental health. I never told Cody, why I came and met him, but I needed to do that for us in my spirit. Gave him Pam, and my son like, "What you doing? And who was that?" And I said, "Don't worry about it. He had a situation like us, and that's our man. When you see him, you pound him up." But I ain't say, "Cody, this is who I wouldn't do that." Right. But I say this, I will make the donation to the Cash App, but even more importantly, it would be my pleasure.
Well, on his behalf, let me start. On his behalf, I do have the baby, but if you said anything and it's for him, his dad has custody of him, and I don't have a way to access him in that manner. But I do have the baby.
Okay, and look, what I want to do is with any of the children of Corinth, I would like to offer our services. We have clinical services, therapeutic services. We have community therapeutic services. And if he's still in KIP, I even have my services in KIP. So, for him or any of the other babies, you let me know. But we also have some assistance and social engagements all the time, adults and young people. It don't even have to be any of the clinical service. You can roll the you tap in the keys, our social page and stuff is going on. I tell you, we got stuff going on all the time. Please come. I'm the CEO. All you gotta do is be like, I'm Rhonda, I'm with Abdul, and you in the house.
My baby girl just walked by and told me, she said, Mommy, he runs Keys. I ain't gonna tell you her name.
That's right. That's right.
That's what she said.
That's right. And we families. So whatever we doing, they in the house. That's a fact.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
man.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. T, I'm done. I appreciate you, T. I love you.
And Abdul, quickly, is there any way that we can support you and everything that you're doing for our community and just helping us and just doing everything? What way can we support you?
I got the page. If y'all just tap into the page, and tap into the community engagements that we doing, share the experiences that our babies are having in these schools, and champion what they trying to do for the city and themselves. That'll be a blessing right there, too.
Okay, well, thank you. And if any of my guests, because I know we're going on, if any of my guests need to leave, I just thank you for sharing. So anytime that you want to check out, you can do it with my check if you're like, okay, I'm gone, because I know, we're in a pandemic, we're in our home, and we got things to do. So if anybody got to check out before we wrap up, that's cool and fine. It'll just be like, I'm out or whatever. That's fine. So
I'm gonna go on mute.
All right. So no further ado. This is my last guest that I'm gonna bring up. This is what I call her my warrior doctor sister. I call her Dr. Warrior. It's my sister, Dr. Martai, and she basically does everything. This sister wear a lot of crowns, man. Like literally, she is she was in the U.S. Army. She was a U.S. Army veteran who served 8 years, and currently right now. She basically works for Morgan State University of Engineering, and she's a strong advocate for African-centered education, and that's exactly what we need. So no further ado. This is every time I see her, she dressed fly. She always represents the colors, the red, the green, the black. Like this sister, this is my warrior queen sister, and she did an interview with me. And when we showed a video, when we closed out, she was there that day. She did an amazing interview, and she covered my brother's story. She had her son there on the ground videoing us while she was interviewing me. So I'm honored. No further ado, my warrior queen sister. I call her Dr. Warrior Queen. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Is she still on, Benjamin?
I think she is.
Okay. Sis, you gotta unmute your mic so we can hear you.
I don't know if she can hear us. She might have us muted. I'm not sure. She's not saying anything.
I wondered because I know she was having problems with her camera at first. And can you actually see her?
I think so. No. No.
Did we lose her?
We might have.
Oh wow. I'm surprised she didn't hit me up. So while I check to see where she is, you can bring on some of our West Wendy folks if they want to share real quick, because I'm going to check to see where our sister's at real fast.
All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to announce? I know that there were no deaths released this week, so we don't have a list to announce. Does anybody else have anything they want to mention? There's a lot happening in this city. There's a lot of protests. There's a protest happening right now down at City Hall. Like I said, there's a couple thousand people down there right now.
Well, shall I go next, or someone else want to go next?
Go ahead, Bill.
I just had a question.
Go ahead.
Do you guys follow Rick Hill's list of death by cop? Do all of you know Rick Hill?
No.
Okay, so you either, Tawanda?
I think she's checking on somebody right now. She's not in the group right now.
Okay, so he has worked for years, and he goes state by state, city by city, of everyone killed by police. I mean, his lists are so big, you wouldn't even believe what you're reading. I don't know if you go to my page to find him, or I'll send the information to Tawanda, and you guys look him up, because he's gonna, and he's an ill man. He has, I forgot what he has, but he's sick a lot, but he doesn't stop doing this work. It's amazing. When you guys see it, you're just gonna be amazed.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tawanda, would you like me to speak, or you have another guest?
You can speak real quick. I don't know what happened to my sister. I sent her a message, so you can speak, and then after that, I guess we'll wrap it. I don't know what happened.
So, I heard a liberal speaker from Minneapolis speaking recently in the wake of the death of George Floyd, and she said, there's a simple solution to stop all these protests and the burning of police stations around the country. She said, just charge the cops. And not just the ones that took George Floyd's life, but the ones here that took Tyrone's life, all the cops around the country that have brutalized and stolen lives. And it made a certain amount of sense, because it is cheaper than the loss of police stations and property. It's cheaper than all the overtime pay for all the police that they're sending out to attack demonstrations. It's cheaper than paying the National Guard for deployments and the military for deployments. But asking them to charge all those cops is like us going back in a time machine to the period of slavery and saying, oh, we want you to put all the slave catchers and we want you to put all the overseers in jail. Obviously that wasn't going to happen, because that was built into that system. It was a necessity of that system. And that's why people like Harriet Tubman were not fighting to make the whips 6 feet instead of 10 feet. They were not fighting to say you can't distance families when you tear them apart by more than a certain number of hundreds of miles. She was saying, no, we got to abolish the system of slavery. And yes, sometimes we can win on getting a cop charge, but look how hard it is for that tiny victory and just a case here and a case there. Look what it took to that hasn't happened. Look what it took to charge and jail that cop, one of the 3 or 4 who took George Floyd's life. It took hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people protesting around the country. It took the burning down of the police station in Minneapolis, and finally they indicted that cop. Look what it took to indict the cops who killed Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray right here in Baltimore. In that case, it took a major rebellion. And they finally, to stop the rebellion, they agreed, okay, we're going to press some charges against these, not very seriously, but we're going to press some charges against these 6. Keep in mind that in the 30 years in Baltimore, prior to the death of Freddie Gray, in that entire 30-year span, there were hundreds and hundreds of cases of police brutality and murder. Only 5 cops were ever charged in the entire 30 years prior to Freddie Gray. Only one of them was found guilty. And he only spent a relatively short time in jail, and then after that, he got out. He won some kind of an appeal and got out. So for 3 entire decades prior to Freddie Gray, virtually no one in the police department was seriously prosecuted and jailed for their crimes. And then it took the rebellion to get those 6 cops, more than in the whole 30 years previously, to get those 6 cops indicted. I was going to tell a story about, I was a victim of police brutality once. I was going to tell a story of that, but I see we have our other guests, so I don't want to take too long. But I think that the purpose of the police, it's a myth. It's a cruel joke to say their job is to serve and protect. The reality is that their purpose is to enforce oppression. And why? Why is that? Well, because just like under slavery, they wanted to control that workforce to grow cotton and tobacco. So they want to control us, the workforce that produces everything. And I'll give you an example. At the Bethlehem Steel plant that used to be in Baltimore, in its heyday, they used to have a death among the workers about once a month because the company didn't care about safety. So if you're building a ship and you're up on the side on a scaffold, and there's supposed to be a safety rail behind you to keep you from falling off and getting killed, they wouldn't bother to put up the scaffold because it would cost them another couple hours of paying somebody to do it. And so once a month, on the average, somebody would die. Now suppose we called the police and we said, we want you to arrest the head of the Baltimore branch of Bethlehem Steel for murder. They would laugh at us. But if the workers went on strike and they said, we demand that they take safety more seriously on this job, that they protect us, that they live up to all the safety standards, well, what would happen? The head of Bethlehem Steel would call the police. He'd say, go down there. He'd tell the police, go down there and break up that picket line, put out an injunction, stop them. The police serve the rich and the powerful. And that's their basic role. And beyond the police, we're now seeing the National Guard. And if Trump has his way, we're seeing the Army. And all of those forces are used to keep us in check and to keep the working class under control. Just a little example. Over the time span from 1943 to 1990, the National Guard intervened 679 times, involving over 681,000 troops, and they were used to attack strikes by workers fighting for better conditions, against uprisings against racism, on student protests, and on prison rebellions. That's the nature of state power. The police, the Army, the National Guard are used by the rich and powerful to keep us in check. And then on top of that, during this pandemic, we have farmers that can't sell their produce, right? We have animals being raised that they can't process fast enough. So what are they doing? They're destroying millions of pounds of vegetables. They're euthanizing millions of cows and pigs and chickens. What kind of system has hungry people and destroys food at the same time? So what we really need is a system of sisterhood and brotherhood, good jobs, good housing for everyone, where humanity is like one big family, where we deeply care about each other and look out for each other, and that the means of production, the factories and all of the other means of producing goods and services are no longer privately owned. We no longer buy and sell human labor. Where money is a thing of the past, all the goods and services are shared according to what each family needs, and where racism has been made illegal and becomes a thing of the past, where men and women respect each other as partners and are fully equal. And in my mind, I call that communism. I think to get there, we need lots of struggle. We need a party that's very active. I'm in Progressive Labor Party. We need to grow. And until we do these things, we can fight hard, and we have to fight hard, and we can indict a cop here and a cop there, but they're killing 1,100 people a year, the police in the United States. And we need a different system, and that's the point I want to end on. We need a different system.
Thank you, Uncle Bill. So now I learned that our sister is back. No further ado, Dr. Maillard. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, peace and love to everyone on the panel. Peace and love to everyone who is watching on various social media platforms. I just want to say that what the last speaker said was extremely powerful. He said we need a new system. He's 100% correct. I've had conversations with my mother, and she said to me, I remember she said to me, she said, this system is broken. I said, no, mommy. The system isn't broken. This system operates exactly the way it was designed to operate. And as the gentleman that just spoke before me said, this system is about maintaining power. That's what it's about. It's about resources, control of those resources, the wealth that is derived from those resources, and the power that comes from the wealth. So as that gentleman just said, we need a new system. We don't need to fix this system or change this system. We need a totally different system that is equal, like he said, where everyone shares in the resources, okay? And where we, I always tell my mother, where there's rich, there's poor. Where there's an upper class, there's a lower class. And so essentially what the gentleman was saying is that we need a system that is fair, a system that is equal. And that's what he's saying. And I agree 100% with what he said. I had to click off about 20 or 30 minutes ago to take a call, Sister Tawanda, but I was able to catch the majority of what was shared. And I just want to say my heart goes out to everyone on this platform who's lost someone due to police brutality. Queen Tawanda, you know, you and I have been talking for quite some time, and I know your story, and I know your story, and I applaud your fight. I applaud your spirit and everything you're doing, because not only have you been fighting for your brother, but I see that whenever a family, whenever someone is victimized by the police, you're right there front and center, my sister, and I thank you for that. I heard the story of Sister Wanda, and she shared with us how whenever she sees things on the media regarding police brutality, how that opens up a wound to those mothers and other families who experienced it. And I gotta actually, Sister Rhonda, I didn't think about that. Like, in the midst of all of the stuff happening with George Floyd, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about, oh man, well, I wonder how the family of Corinne Gaines feels right now. You know, like watching this stuff, the family of Tyrone West, you know, the family of Philando Castile, the family of Trayvon Martin, the family of Michael Brown. You know, like you said, it's kind of like a rewind. It's like you're experiencing this thing over and over and over again. And so, Sister Tawanda, I'm so glad that you invited me to be on this platform, just to hear these stories and to give me even a broader perspective as to what's really going on. There was another mother, and I didn't catch your name, ma'am. I know you were sharing that your son was also a victim of police brutality, and like I said, I'm so sorry to hear these stories, but you know, you mothers are strong, and I applaud you for having the strength to come on and share your story, the stories with the world, and to also fight for more victims, other victims of police brutality. So my name is Dr. Ma'at. My given name, that's my African name that I have adopted. But my given name is Dr. Deanna Bailey. I teach over at Morgan State University School of Engineering. I also started a company called Ed Animate Productions. And this is a company that creates, we create edutainment materials for children. And our flagship project is called Meltrek. And Meltrek was created to teach people about the history, culture, and achievements of Black people from a Black perspective. Because what I've come to realize is that, you know, we kill each other. And when I say kill each other, I'm talking about the police brutality and warring with each other and the hate, because we don't see the value in one another. We don't see the value in each of these different groups. And so what I hope to do with the Meltrek project is to show people that, yes, Black folks, we have contributed to the advancement of humanity. We're not like a zero contributing race. We have a rich history, a great history that is just simply not taught in the curriculum. You know, it's just not taught. And so my hope is that the Meltrek program will change the perception of Black people globally. You know, I want us to change the perception of ourselves and also other people to change their perception of the Black race. And so I'm just showing you the greatness of us, of where we come from, where we've been, and hopefully, you know, and talk about where we're going. So that's always been my motto, that people have been miseducated about Black people, and what I want to do is re-educate people about Black people, and not just Black people, all people of color, because we all have a story. Native Americans have a story. That's why we had Meltrek episode 2. We focus on the pre-Columbian Americas, and we talk about the indigenous populations in North America, South America, Mesoamerica, and Central America. And so, you know, and I want to get into this. I want to talk about this, you know, the people in the Philippines and all the different indigenous populations. We just so happen to start with Black, you know, with the Black race, but we want to tell the story of all indigenous people. Because it hasn't been told. So anyway, again, thank you so much, Sister Tawanda, for inviting me on the platform. But that's always been my mission, education and the re-education of our people, so that we can begin to love ourselves and to value one another.
Yes.
Can you spell Meltrek for us?
Yes, sir. So that is MELTREK. Sort of like Star Trek, but Meltrek, and Mel is short. Look, Mel is short for melanin. Trek means journey. So you're going on a journey to understand and learn about the history of melanated people. And so we're doing fairly well. Since the pandemic, a lot of people have been downloading all of our digital materials because they needed things for their children. And so I definitely appreciate that. But we could also use more support, you know, just to tell our story and get the real story out there, you know.
Thank you.
Yes.
No problem.
Thank you.
Is there any way that we can help besides that? Any other way we can help support your cause? Anything else you want to share with us?
Oh, yes, sis. So you can go to the website. Our website is edanimeproductions.com. And if you didn't catch that, if you go to Google and just type in Meltrek, our website will come up. Or if you want to just donate to the company, you can donate to info at Ed Enemy Productions. That's EDANIME Productions.com. So that's info at edenemyproductions.com. And that's through PayPal. I'm sorry, by the way. That's our email address, but you can also use that same address for PayPal if you want to send some donations to us.
I just had a quick question. Do you have any social media handles to use to promote Meltrek?
Absolutely. So we're on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. We just got up to 20,000 followers on Facebook, so we're excited about that. But we're on Facebook, and again, it's just Ed Enemy Productions, at Ed Enemy Productions. So we're on social media. We're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. My sons told me I need to get a TikTok page, but I'm still kind of, I don't want to let Facebook go right now and Instagram go. But so right now we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and the handle is at Ed Anime Productions.
Thank you, Royal Queen.
Oh, thank you so much, Queen.
Thank you. So any of my West Wednesday Coalition folks want to share anything else? Because I heard the good news that there is no deaths to report, but unfortunately I saw, because I know like they got like a time and it's not like put up to date, because I saw so many murders, including a 16-year-old baby girl, and my heart went out to her family. Like, it's just crazy out here in the street. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. And that's why I wanted to let everybody know that we're all in this together. So when people fight community violence, it's all about fight. Even though I know my lane. My lane, unfortunately, is police brutality. I didn't ask for this lane. However, I was pushed down this road. Nobody wants to go through it. And at the end of the day, I have 2 grown children and 2 younger children. And I worry about them in so many ways. I worry about, is somebody going to rob them on our street? Is they going to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and somebody shoot or gun them down? Or is a killer cop going to come behind them? So I get real irritated and agitated when they try to say, you know, why y'all won't hold up a sign when somebody else get killed. Guess what? If anybody want to do that, I will be out there with you to support. But however, right now we do hold up the names of all, because at the end of the day, it's the highway to hell that we're going down. Rather, whichever road you take, police brutality lane, homeless lane, you know, street violence lane, whatever lane you take, whatever street you take, it connects to the highway of hell. And that's this dirty system that don't give a damn about us. So it boils down to one purpose, one cause, one fight. And at the end of the day, our lives matter. And I just want to know if anybody else want to share before we wrap up.
Yeah, I'd just like to announce tonight at 9 o'clock, for those that would like to, we have the Progressive Labor Party discussion group. Tonight we're going to be reading and discussing an article by Lerone Bennett, who was the Black history writer for Ebony for a number of years. And it's about how racism and slavery were started in the United States in the 1600s and has set the pattern for what we're facing today. So if you want to participate and you don't know how, please hit me on Facebook or Tawana, and we'll let you know. Okay.
All right, thank you. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, Tawana. Thank you, Benjamin, and everyone else on the panel. It was nice meeting you, and I'll be back.
And you're welcome to come back anytime you want. You definitely will be back. And I want to thank you because I know we're on a 3-hour time difference. So
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank all you guys tonight for joining us, all of our special guests. I'm giving you a big virtual hug because I am a hug and I love hugs. So I'm giving everybody a virtual hug. I'm just asking that everybody be safe. Just remember, even though we're in a quote-unquote stage 2 of opening this city back up, which is utterly ridiculous because all they saying is symbolic to say, get your butts back to work. We don't care if y'all die. We don't care if we got all these cases of death. We don't care if we got all these cases of a disease that we don't even understand, that a virus that's killing people when it's in the summertime, like peak, because normally any virus by now would have been gone. Nobody has the flu when it's in June. I have never known anyone to have the flu in June. So now we still got to go outside with face masks and they're forcing us back to work, and they don't care if we bring illness back home. They always care about this capitalist system that's a dollar bill. Our lives matter, and it's just utterly ridiculous. So, and then in one breath he'll say, well, you don't have to go back out. You know, you can just say, I guess that's the disclosure or whatever, but it's utterly ridiculous. So again, I just want to thank everybody that came, going to share, and I hope I didn't open up any wounds, because I know every time we share, it's heartbreaking, and I just pray tonight, Rhonda, you get some good sleep. I pray you get some good sleep tonight, my dear queen sister, and read your son poem. It touched my, you can say, just read that beautiful poem. Like, that is like my sunshine. Read that poem, Abdul. I pray that he gets some good sleep tonight, and I pray that all the victims, even of community violence, police brutality, or even if you're just suffering, being traumatized by being in a pandemic, you don't know what to do, you don't know if you're going crazy, it's just too much. It's way too much. But at the end of the day, we got, like Brother Boone said, and we all we need. So if you guys can tune in, I want you guys to listen to this powerful video. It's called, I think it's called No Justice, Just Us, or something like that. No, Justice or Else. That's what it's called. Justice or Else. And it like covers everything. And in the video, you'll see where Abdul, what did you see of Abdul Salam? He has on a white tank top. He's actually getting arrested. And that's the day after those killer cops beat him, and they're actually locking him up. Instead of them locking Weeds and Chapman up on the scene, and Omar, they locked an innocent man that was beat down that survived up. Just like Keith Davis Jr. Keep his name up. I'm praying for Kelly. I'm praying for Keith. I'm praying for everybody, because we are all we have. And we're the only ones that are going to be able to get ourselves. I know we might not ever see the real change of this system actually treating us fair, because this has been going on over 400, years and whatnot. But just remember that we are a part of this change, and we are the change makers. We all got to play our part. So live to love, love to live. I love you all. So stay tuned to the video. Thank you guys so much.
God bless.
Okay.
Mic check, mic check.
Pete. Mic check. Pete.
Mic check.
Pleasure to be here with everyone tonight.
Yes. Same here.
I feel.
You are now about to witness the power of street knowledge.
This ain't for people who think violence ain't the answer. This is for FOI, black gorillas and black panthers. This is Farrakhan with a pair of bombs. This Moses in Egypt freeing his people from the Pharaoh's arms. The American statement to murder us on pavement, then tell us they ain't racist and all niggas stupid cavemen. This is my rebuttal, ain't shit about it subtle. Fuck the police, sincerely Tesla from the struggle. This country got it twisted, the soldiers I got enlisted are brutal, bullet ballistic, meaning that we're sadistic from years of fighting the system. So ain't no cop killing me, death coming free, so my bullets be a trilogy. Allahu Akbar, protect me from these mock laws. Let my fist be strong, I hit them until they lock jaws. My power's attack mode, I live in attack mode. I'm done seeing sons get put in them black holes.
There will be no peace without justice. There will be no unity while there's poverty. See, racism isn't about you, it's a system.
They fighting me, sniping me, I can't hold them back. I'm searching for a sign, I got to react, cause prisons getting filled here, graveyards filled here. What more can I say? We getting killed here. It's kinda funny they call us the minority until it comes down to cop killers and poverty. Get that right, oh now we the majority. Can somebody please explain this anomaly? Honestly, structural racism placed all the hate in him, even if he got a black face on him. Don't be surprised if my black blood splatters from a black man screaming Black Lives Matter. Still ain't nothing changed from the slave days to today. Emmett Till songs screaming justice for Freddie Gray.
We need understanding. We need patience. What we really need is love. See, hate can't erase hate. Understand, only love can.
That's the sound of the beast. Bang, 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 toe tag on their feet. That's the sound of the police. Unknown black man laying dead on the street. Serial killer, the real drug dealer. Domestic terrorists, wear them caps cause they fit. Kill my generation and then tell us to forget. We won't forget black power pump. Every time shit exposing all the lies. Please kill it when they say it's suicide. Tired of hearing all the mamas cry. Is that what you be on when it's time to ride? They making the blame excuses to justify the abuse. Some put it on how we dress when Martin got shot in the suit. Black on black crime is a problem, just don't let that justify. I'ma keep protesting till I close my eyes. That siren is the sound of the beast. Badge number 666. My heart is a crucifix. I repel the hell of white supremacist spells. Terrorist cells got my people in cells. This is a breakout. A breakup letter with oppression. A signed contract with the ghosts of my murdered people. They tell me police gun sounds or drum sounds. It's wartime. And I'm suited in Zulu. Tribal Shabazz imprinted on my shells. The melanin Braveheart. Every word I speak is a rebellion. A spear to the chest of the incest of Uncle Sam fucking his own people. This is a riot in 4D. Play me loud enough, I'll reach to the speakers and strangle a policeman. This is an uprising from the graves. Zombified leaders and gangbangers are marching toward police departments. That's what they get for filling graveyard crypts with bloods. This is a revolution, resurrection.